All I know is this violates every canon of respectable broadcasting.
How are you?
Hey, who wants to help me get this recorder out of here? I need some muscle over here.
You are listening to Blame Your Brother.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the coronavirus edition of Blame Your Brother. That's right. We are back here through the magic of Zoom recording to come to you live tonight with the podcast called Blame Your Brother. And there are three of us that come to you every week. I am one third of that trio. I am David, a.k.a. D-Brew, voice of the people, Mr. 40%, Glenn Jackson, the spiritual midget. And I'm joined by this gentleman who sits to the left of me in cyberspace. It's my brother. It's Lee.
What up, everyone? It is the real Nick Nickum and, of course, the one and only LeBron Safety Pin.
And then we got this gentleman on 3G tonight coming to us from the world of AT&T Fiber. It is John.
Hey, everybody. John here, a.k.a. Mr. Groupon, Mr. PTI, the madman.
There you go. The comic relief of that program.
Joke never gets old, I'm sure.
I mean, it's not old because we'll talk about John's adventures in a little bit. But anyway, all right, so we're going to talk about a ton of things. And here's the best part. Tonight at 8:30, we got meteorologist for News 5, Bree Smith, coming into the program to join us in this pandemic world we're living in. We're going to talk to her about her job, her life, all kinds of good stuff. So it should be a good time. So all that being said, me and Lee recorded last week. Lee, is there anything you need to apologize for last week's program? Do you even remember last week's program?
I mean, a little bit. I feel like I apologized for talking too much about the coronavirus and then proceeded to talk nothing about the coronavirus. So let's see if I can three-peat tonight. I don't know.
All right. John, I mean, the last time you were on the program, it was St. Patrick's Day, which seems like 14 years ago. But is there anything you remember? Anything?
I mean, I apologize for not making it last week. Got my wires crossed, and I just couldn't make it. But I'm here now, and that's it.
So
there you go.
So tell us, John. I want to know, what's it like living in that tunnel now?
Tunnel?
Yeah, you sound like you're in a tunnel. I mean, I assume that you've lost your house and you're living in a tunnel now.
We dug a bunker in the backyard just in case, and we're all hanging out in that.
Fantastic. I want to talk about real quick. I want to talk about John's week he was telling us about earlier, but I got something in the mail today, which just shows you how stupid we are as people in this country. And I don't mean us, everyone. I got a brochure. I don't know if you guys have gotten this yet. I got a brochure, like a little 3x5 index card from the White House with tips on how not to catch the coronavirus. They literally apparently have mailed this out. I'm not joking. This is real. I could go in the other room and literally get it. They literally sent this out to everyone. And I'm thinking, dude, if you don't know how to not catch it, you're probably dead by now. Like this is tax dollar money. They're like, turn on the news. They're telling you right now, some stations telling you how to not get the coronavirus. This is so whack, man. I know we're not supposed to talk about it, but we're going to talk about it anyway. More so the Red Hat Squad, but why would they send this out? Tell me why.
I think you're really giving people way too much credit. I mean, there's so much information floating around and no primary sources. Nobody's quoting their sources. There's people saying that there is a public official saying that you could stick a hairdryer into your nose and mouth and breathe in the hot fumes and it would cure you from coronavirus. This is an elected official in Florida. So I think the idea being is that when you receive something from the United States government, that you should take it as a primary source and whatever's on that card is the truth. And so no matter if you've heard something that's not on that card, you can then discard those bad things that you've heard and stick to what actually works. So unfortunately, in this world of social media, of internet interconnectedness, the fact that we can be isolated yet together over Zoom, it brings a large world together, and it allows people that shouldn't have voice. I guess I say shouldn't have voices, but should they or should they not? It allows people that have, infactual ideas to spread them easily and find like-minded people that spread it as well.
There you go. So, John, you told us earlier before we started, you took a little trip to a very essential business. Where did you go? Where did you go during the week?
We went to several places. We went to Walmart.
Okay.
We went to Home Depot.
Okay.
We went to PetSmart. And since it's right there, we also went to Guitar Center.
So tell us, what are these essential supplies that you needed to endanger not only your family, but everyone else's? Let's just go through the list so that, everyone listening will be like, okay, like that's understandable. He needed some toilet paper. He needed some food. He needed some, pet food. So give it to us.
We needed pet food and litter for the cat. That's why we went to PetSmart. We went to Home Depot because we needed some kind of stain remover or something. That was
stain
Robin
remover.
said we needed it.
Okay.
So.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And you took your
So
whole
we needed,
family? You took your whole family in with you?
Huh?
You took your
No,
whole
it
family?
was just me and Robin. My niece is spending the week with us, so she watched the kids.
Okay. So stain remover, cat litter. Okay. Keep going.
Walmart, we needed a few things at Walmart. I can't remember everything.
It's popsicles.
But
not a headphone,
no,
not a headphone, and apparently not a microphone though.
Not a microphone. And then while we were right there in 100 Oaks, and Guitar Center was right there. I was like, hey, I'm gonna hit up Guitar Center real quick. I asked them for a mixer and a microphone. They said it'd be like $400. I was like, bye.
What?
So
is that a joke or that's serious? $400? Yeah.
Yeah.
John, they're upselling you,
So
dude. They saw you walking in the door.
That's why I left.
Ridiculous.
That's why I walked out the door.
Okay. Well, you can buy guitar strings, mixers, and microphones at Walmart, where you literally were at before you went to Guitar Center. I didn't know if you were aware of that, but anyway.
I didn't think of it until after we left.
If you go to our website, there's an Amazon link that you can click and then purchase things that they'll deliver to your house so that you can stay at home, and then will also benefit the podcast.
Okay. Well, I'll look into that after we finish streaming tonight.
John is like a suicide bomber, man. Like you gotta look, he's going to all these retail shops, which is one thing. But John, you work in a hotel. You are literally taking a risk every time.
I mean, that is the worst place to be.
So you realize that when
aside from a hospital.
So, and then you were going out in public and touching all these things and mingling with the people, right?
Well, I mean, I work from 11 at night to 7 in the morning. For the last entire week, I've probably seen about 4 guests. So I wouldn't really say mingling with the public.
Wait a minute. You've seen 4 guests in what period of time?
This whole week, since last week.
What? That's not how many people have stayed at the hotel. It's just how many come in.
No, there's more. That's how many I've seen.
I got you.
It's probably been like 8 people stay there.
Okay, let's talk about who in the hell is traveling right now, like at this time.
Well, there's people from FEMA.
Oh, okay.
Because they had the tornadoes last week. We've got some construction people staying, and we've got a contract with the Air Guard, and they still are doing their thing. So
you're not getting
some Air Guard people as well.
You're not getting like Billy Joe, like with his family on vacation, though, that you know about.
The only people who are traveling on business are people who are trying to get home.
Okay.
And that was just a stopping space.
Now, speaking of trips, how's your New York trip looking? Have you already canceled it or what?
I already canceled it.
Oh, how did that feel?
I mean, it's a little depressing because I really wanted to go.
Yeah.
And so.
Well,
But
that is
What
that
an
is a bummer for
uplifting
sure. It's a
story.
bummer.
What an uplifting story. What else we
Yeah,
got?
well, and it's the story of John. Did you expect it to be? It's like the story of Job in the Bible. It's not uplifting. John's life is Job with the ending tore out. Okay, John's life.
yeah, it does feel like my end was torn out.
Yeah. Have you guys watched this show? Have you heard of this show called The Leftovers? You ever heard of The Leftovers on HBO?
Never heard of it.
Okay.
No.
All right. So the premise, one day, which happens to be my wedding anniversary, October 14th, 2011. That's not the day I got married, but it's the day on the show, October 14th. 2% of the Earth's population disappears, as in Allah, they just disappear, like Allah the rapture. And so the show deals with the ramifications of what would happen if 2% of the world's population disappeared with no scientific reason whatsoever. It is 3 seasons. It's written by Damon Lindelof, who did Lost and Watchmen. And let me tell you something. If you get a chance, you need to go watch his show. It is one of the best shows I've ever watched in my life. I've heard people talking about this show, and finally, I was listening to the New Day podcast, and they had the top TV shows of all time, which they kind of stole from us. But anyway, they had a bracket of top shows of all time, and Dragon Ball Z was the winner. But enough of that. That's silly. But it was Dragon Ball Z versus like Price is Right or something. It was a top show. But anyway, they talked about The Leftovers, and this show, you need to get it. Just get, if you've never gotten I think Lee's already got HBO, so you should be able to get it HBO Now or whatever. But just get you a free like 14-day HBO trial period and just binge that sucker. It is one of the best shows I've ever watched.
I think the only problem that I have is a little too much for the current situation.
Oh, that's what someone else said, but
it's true.
on.
Like, okay, like my wife doesn't want to watch shows that bring that reality back into the situation. TV is more about escapism for her. So, and I'm not going to watch TV without her. So that's kind of off the table.
Whoa. Back the truck up, son. You don't watch TV without your wife? Are you joking right now?
I don't consume television unless...
Without your wife?
Yes.
John, please jump on this.
I mean, occasionally. I will.
I find it just hard to be able to have the time to watch TV without my wife. So I kind of get it. But I mean, I have to... It's hard to get time to do it. Whenever I do have free time and my wife is anywhere around, I'd rather spend it with her than watch TV.
But if I get sick, I will binge out like on some Netflix. Just lay in bed and watch TV.
Well, if you get the coronavirus,
right. I'll look up Leftover. Yeah.
Oh, it's
but
great.
I'll tell you one TV show that we have been watching. I don't know if you've heard of this. I don't know how you could miss this. Is The Tiger King on Netflix. Mm-hmm. Have you seen this one?
Have I've seen the first episode.
Okay, so for those who don't know, it's I guess a docudrama. It's I guess it's a true life story about a man named Joe Exotic, who is a big cat a private big cat zoo operator, and he is in prison because of a murder for hire against basically a PETA supporter that runs a sanctuary for big cat zoo animals that need to be basically rehabilitated and given a place to go die. So and this guy he's crazy. But I will tell you this, it hit a little close to home because they were talking about, it starts off with this producer that was hired and brought in to make, they ran a Joe Exotic daily broadcast out of his home. He had built like a studio, and the guy was like, this guy, he never had more than 80 people watching him, and they brought me in to bring it into the limelight. And I like stopped for a second because the guy had been doing it for like 10 years or something. Like, how long are we going to do this when they film our documentary on Netflix? I mean, what are they going to say about us?
I did think of that as well. And yes, the guy, had a basically, he streamed YouTube every day. I think about it all the time. I mean, yeah, we only have I just had the chat pulled up. I think we got 5 people right now. So we're killing it. But here's the problem. I'll get back to that in a minute. Everyone is live streaming on freaking Instagram now. Like my Instagram's like ding, 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 ding. And then I'm getting texts like, we're having a Zoom party tonight. Hey, everybody, it's a Zoom party. And I'm like, great. So the coronavirus is killing the quality of the show, and it's taking away all our freaking watchers because they're going to watch stupid Instagram live things, man. Sucks. This is the worst. Someone needs to fix this right now. Okay. When it was killing people, I didn't like it. Okay. But hey, it is what it is. You can't stop a virus. When it was crippling the economy, hey, it happens, man. Things happen. It hurts the podcast. You stepped over a line. We need this to end now. I need some scientists to get on this and fix this damn thing. That's what I need. Okay?
Well, let's talk about this. We have to look at our past 2 releases to our podcast feed. We had Half Pint and Michael Anthony. So I can't put the puzzle pieces together. I would assume that our ratings would be off the chart. I assume Joey Exotic would be in a prison somewhere calling us, asking to be on the show.
Okay, so let me touch on that. So yes, if you don't know, I'm putting out bonus episodes, and the 2 episodes I put out, if you're familiar with the show, you would know these people, Half Pint and Michael Anthony. You've listened for a long time. Michael Anthony used to do Memory of the Week at the end of the show. If you don't know, that's fine, but if you do know, you're laughing. He told me if we had a Tiger King type show, those 2 dudes would be on it 100%, and the ratings would be through the roof because they would be the most entertaining people you've ever seen in your life. A show with us 3 and all the misfits that love this show. I mean, I'd call some of them out, but they might stop listening. But Michael Anthony and Half Pint, definitely 2 of them. That would be ratings gold, us in a house with them.
I mean, are we going to put them in cages?
We could. I mean,
we're going to feed them cows.
Yeah, we could.
Let them fight over it.
Please. I ask Michael, I don't know if it made it into the thing I put out or not. I asked him, I think I cut it out, but I asked him if him and Half Pint had mended their broken fences. He didn't seem to know they had any beef.
Wait. Half Pint and Michael Anthony had beef?
Oh, hell yeah, dude.
About what?
Way back. This goes way back to the former podcast.
Nobody knows the story but you.
I mean, I don't even know what the beef's about. That's what's
How did they
so
even
funny.
have beef?
They just don't like each other because they're both vying for my attention, I think is what it was.
Oh, God.
Oh gosh.
Hey man, this is the life I live. Okay,
I wouldn't go around telling
I'm
you.
a bigger loser. No, I'm a bigger loser.
I would sleep on that. I would just, not tell anyone that, especially in public.
I love it. So Tiger King is highly recommended. I question if this is all true. I mean, it's a little bit much. I started watching some of the second episode, and I'm like, come on, man, is this real? Because this seems like out there. Like,
it does seem very
David Lynch. It's like a David Lynch documentary, But
here's the thing, like, and they say this in the opening of it. They're interviewing a guy, and they're talking about people who own wild animals are a different kind of people. They're all weird. Mm-hmm. And the guy's like, the monkey people, yeah, they're a little weird. We've all known people that own monkeys, right? Like, they're a little weird. Yes. But he's like the big cat people are absolutely insane, and that's who these people are. They all are running these big cats, like zoos, sanctuaries, whatever you want to call them. They're raising these cats from infancy. So yeah, you got to be a little off your rocker to have an interest in there.
I mean, they're not like those normal falconry people.
I mean, yeah, I would say that's night and day for sure. But But did you see the clip with Shaquille O'Neal was on there talking about he had visited the GW Zoo and had picked up 2 big cats? So Shaquille is a big cat person. Mike Tyson used to own a big cat. That's known.
Okay. Would you go to these private zoos, both of you? John, would you go to a private zoo?
No.
Okay.
No.
Well,
Lee,
okay, first off.
Lee, would you go?
They talked about the pricing. The one that was in the coast in South Carolina.
South Carolina, yeah.
They said the ticket started at $369, and depending on demand, some people had paid upward to $1,200.
Yeah,
so with that
true.
price tag, probably not. But the one was in Oklahoma. They had to been charging like $20 to get in.
Where's Joe Exotic? That's Florida, right?
No, he's in Oklahoma, I thought.
Oh, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
Okay. It looks like Florida.
I would probably pay $20 to get in
You would
there.
go to that.
Yeah, it seemed really cool to be that close to the
Man,
Tigers and stuff.
hell to the no, brother.
Dude, they've been
I would
open
go if it was
forever.
free.
They've been
Thank
open forever. I haven't watched
Excuse
all
me?
the episodes.
Excuse
Only like
me?
a kid got
hey.
bit one time or something.
Keep watching, brother. Keep watching for the second episode. That's all. That's a little tease.
There's more to
for you right
come,
there.
huh?
There's shit that happens in the second episode where me and wife were watching this. I turned around, I went, no way. It's crazy, dude. This is the second episode I'm into. Half the way, it is the wildest freaking show I've ever seen in my life, dude.
So
It truly is. It's truly the wildest reality show or whatever you want to call that I've ever seen. So, John, you need to put that on your list, man. It's
But
crazy.
I think we should take some tips from the producer, and I think we should turn this into more of a show, get some green screens, like have us holding some small kittens on the intro.
Okay.
Have like, what do they call it, a pre-roll or something?
We have a green screen in your basement.
That's
We
what I'm
could get a
saying.
cat.
We need to step this production up a little bit.
I bet Joe Exotic. Now, were you there when he was talking about it costs like $250,000 like to feed these tigers every year or something like
I think
that?
he has 227 cats. And
Okay.
the one guy said that it cost, I think, $10,000 per year to feed one cat. And then Joey Exotic said that he could do it for $3K because he has the sheriff's department and road safety when there's a deer roadkill basically on the side of the road. They call him and they come and pick him up so they can feed the roadkill to the animals.
Yeah, that's true. It is wild. That's all I'm going to say. Definitely, if you've not watched this, the internet's talking about it quite a bit. If you haven't watched it, watch it. We should all watch all of it and then come back and talk about it because literally in these times, what else are we going to talk about? I mean, there's nothing like we can talk about the coronavirus or how boring our days are, how nothing happens because you can't go interact with people. So we don't even have good stories anymore. This thing is killing the podcast. And now every podcast sounds worse than it did before. The one thing we had going for us was everybody went, equality is great. It's good stuff, And I was like, dude, now we're just in the trash heap with the rest of every podcast.
Well,
so
maybe we could try to be creative and give something people to do other than fret about the coronavirus. Then.
Well, I think we should all get together and make an album on one episode, but we have to, like I was saying, we have to play it all together on the stream at the same time. See what happens.
I don't think that's possible, but
you're a man
wait,
of no,
let me
faith,
get this
so.
shit straight. You want to record an entire full-length album?
No, just an
It's
hour.
like a session.
An hour.
An
yeah,
hour
sure.
session. Just pull together an
Yeah.
entire album.
The hits, baby. The hits. Let's play the hits.
This is
John,
going to be
John. What would be on the hits of our song catalog? Give me three. songs right now.
Superstitious.
Okay.
Okay, I'm just going to stop you there because nobody knows
nope.
these songs. You are
Sometimes.
literally doing what Joey Exotic had 2 albums that he recorded with music videos and released. You are Joey Exotic, dude. We're going to need you to get a few more like earrings.
If you get a mullet, I'll get the earrings. How about that?
If I get a mullet, you will get 5 earrings. On the same ear.
Mullet, you get that mullet and you can never cut it ever again in your life.
What?
There's no way, dude. Describe the mullet to
If
John.
I
'cause
get
he's
the
never
mullet,
seen it.
I
Describe
never
the
can
mullet.
cut
Describe
my
the
mullet
mullet
again.
Describe the mullet
like
to John.
It's a bleached blonde. I don't even know.
It's bleached. No, but it's it's
business
two-tone.
in the front, long in the back. I don't know.
It's two-tone, John. It's like 2 different colors. It's like blonde and then like, I don't know, brown on the top.
What do you look like Dog the Bounty Hunter, but with brown at the top?
Yes, kind of like that. I'd
Well,
say Dog's probably got a
okay.
little bit better hair.
Think
but
very
yeah.
effeminate Dog the Bounty Hunter. Very skinny.
no.
A skinny, effeminate Dog the Bounty Hunter. And
Yeah,
that's pretty
he's
much
gay,
Joe
dude.
Exotic.
He's gay and like he's openly gay and he's married, so it's pretty wild stuff. So all right, there we go.
I feel bad for the dude because they're interviewing him, and he said that when he came out to his dad made him shake his hand and promise his mother that he would not show up to his wedding.
No, that's sad. Obviously, I mean, no
But
one's
that's
gonna say
crazy.
that,
I can't
but
even imagine like what
you
goes
live in
through
the
someone's
South. What are you talking about? You can only imagine.
I
Come
can't
on, man.
imagine myself ever treating someone like that.
Well, yes.
Much less your son. Like, I don't know. That's super weird.
That could be a Dear John. Dear John, dear John. My father told me never to show up at his funeral because I came out as gay. Should I go to the funeral? John, what do you think?
No, let him rot.
Oh my gosh.
I think at that point you show up,
Ugh.
but you go over the top with it. You know, you show up in like a lace carriage or something.
You should no. Buy him a pink casket.
There you go. That's pretty good. There you go.
I don't think they would. I don't think his. I don't think he's in charge of the wedding. If he's told not to show up, they're not going to put his dad in a pink coffin.
I mean, if the mom dies, yeah, really don't have much of a say in it, right?
I mean,
Yeah.
he's known for hiring people to kill other people. Who knows?
Allegedly. I haven't seen the rest of it,
Allegedly.
so we'll have to see. I don't know. There's a lot. I'm sure there's a lot of twists and turns as there are. That one, Don't F with Cats. Did you watch that one?
The episode? I don't.
No, it's a Netflix
No,
series.
it's a
It's
documentary.
series on Netflix. It's called Don't F with Cats.
What's
it's
it
a
about?
story about this guy who made this video where he killed a cat, and these people on the internet like start looking for this guy. Dude, I don't even want to tell you any more than that. How have you not seen that? That's great.
I don't
it's
watch
like this.
TV.
What are you doing with your life, man? What do you do every day? Like,
Well, I've
stuck
been going
inside.
to work. You know.
you're going to work?
Well, I work from home.
Okay. You work, what, 8 hours straight on the clock? Okay. Okay. Hey, I watched something today. Apparently, we're just going to talk about things we watched. I watched Vice has offered up their Dark Side of the Ring wrestling series.
Are you talking about the Benoit episodes?
Yes. Have you seen that?
Yeah, I watched them. Yeah.
Holy hell, dude. That Benoit one almost had me in tears, man. Now, people don't know.
It was messed up, man. His older son.
Yeah. Oh,
Man,
Was this the guy that killed his family?
yeah. So Chris Benoit was a wrestler, and he was one of the greatest wrestlers of all time, if you ask me.
Oh, yeah,
And-
one of the best ring workers ever.
Yeah. And he ended up, yes, he killed his family and then killed himself. And it's wild because people talk about this guy like he was a family guy. He loved his family. And then, I don't know,
did he
man.
suffer
when
from
his
mental
Well,
problems, addiction.
CTE is what they think. And
What is
what's
CTE?
crazy is when his buddy died, Eddie Guerrero, who you
What
may
is
have heard of.
CTE?
Huh?
What
What
is
is
CTE?
Basically brain damage over and over
It's
and over.
caused from multiple concussions.
I mean, it's the same thing that Aaron Hernandez, they looked at his brain and his CTE was like out of control. So it's basically football players, wrestlers, people that get knocked in the head all the time. It turns your brain into mush. But I mean,
Benoit was the reason for the no more headshots of chair shots.
yeah, it was bad.
If you notice in wrestling, they don't do the headshots anymore with chairs.
They
It was
just
because
jump
of
off
this Benoit
rings
situation.
Yeah, so it was
set
crazy.
each other
But anyways,
on fire. I don't.
it's wild. But I mean, when his friend died in the business, he really fell apart then, and then he just started going. I don't know. No one really knows. Like, I mean, what was in his head. I mean, he kept a journal, but I don't know, man. They didn't really talk about that a whole lot. I guess they don't really have a lot to say about it, but I would have liked to heard more about it. I don't know, but yeah, if you're looking for wrestling content, I know Lee loves that. But if you're looking for wrestling content, it's not bad. You know, you could do worse than that. So I don't know. So we got Bree Smith calling in just a few minutes. So if you have any questions for her, let us know in the chat. I do have the chat on YouTube pulled up so I can read questions for you. She is the meteorologist for News 5. She works the afternoon, like evening shift. And I don't know, we have a good track record of meteorologists. We had Leland Statham on. We had Daniel Breezy on. We had Mary Mays on. So apparently we like the weather people for whatever reason. Why is that? Why is that?
Well, you're a huge fan of the local news, and you were talking earlier about how they've had to transition from the studio to working at home. I haven't personally. I obviously don't watch the local news, but can you give us like what your experience has been watching that?
It's different, but I think once you get used to it, I mean, like I say, we're in a day and age now where if this happened 20 years ago, you're screwed. Like it just wouldn't be happening. You know, it'd be all phone stuff. It'd just be like, you ever see the phone calls they get on the news where it's just a picture of the person talking? It would be that. I mean, we're in a society now where really you start to wonder if they could make better quality of their videos. Why couldn't everybody just do it from home? I mean, is this going to change the way we operate moving forward? A lot of people think it is. I mean, there she is. Speak of her. Welcome to the program. It's Bree Smith. I don't know if she can hear us or not, but we'll see.
I think she can hear us. I'm not sure we can hear her.
Oh, okay. Ah, there you go. Hello, Bree. How's it going? She'll figure it out. So we got me, Lee, and then we got our friend John, who is faceless, nameless. I don't know. Okay, well now it says NC5
If only.
iPad. She's on an iPad, so we're going to see what happens here. This is the joys of life in the podcasting game. Is this going to change the way we work, or are we just going to go back to normal when everything just falls back into place?
Well, I mean, obviously it's going to change, right? I mean, I think
Hold on.
we're holding. You're fine. We can hear things moving around, which is good.
I mean, I think a lot of companies were caught unaware with it and had to rapidly change how they handled work from home situations. So I think going forward, I mean, companies know that they're going to have to be prepared for this very situation. So they're going to have to be prepared, right?
I guess so. Maybe robots could take over the hotel industry. Why don't we have robots that can go into work for us, and then we never have to get sick again?
I think it's because science fiction is exactly that, fiction. But they are working on robots.
Oh, there she is.
Okay.
Hello. How's it going? Look, she's got the lighting and everything. Look, now there's two of her. Check this out. Now we got like two guests on the show. This is great. All right, there she is. Hello, Bree. How's it going?
Okay. Hello.
Hello.
Hi.
How are you doing?
I'm doing fine. I have way too many pieces of technology around my desk right now. So
That's all right. No problem.
I tried with the iPad. That didn't work. So we'll use this.
Okay. Well, it looks great. Our friend is on here, but he doesn't have a computer, so he's nameless, faceless on his phone. But anyway, so how's it going? We were just talking about how this whole situation has changed the news, where a lot of you now are doing your remotes from home. Lee was kind of asking what my thoughts of it. I guess more importantly would be what are your thoughts on it? How different is it for you?
It's everything's different. I'm so blown away by what our engineers have put together. If you'd asked me a month ago if I could do the weather from my basement, I'd say no. And I've done it 4 days in a row now. So, the madness is I've got access to one computer monitor here. And then I had.
Nice pull. There you go.
So it's, and there's Legos on the floor, and it's just amazing what you can do when you're forced to do it. It's like, okay, well, we have to figure something out, which is something that I love about news anyway. It doesn't matter if you're ready. It happens every day at 4, 5, 6, and 10. So you just make it work.
That's true. Yeah. So, okay. So if people don't know, you are on News 5. How long have you been here in Nashville?
Yeah. So I'm the evening meteorologist for News Channel 5, and I've been here for a little over 4 years.
Nice. So where are you from originally?
A little bit of all over. So I was born in Colorado, but I was raised in California. And then I was in Dallas for a while. That's where I got my first degree. I have a bachelor's in theater. And I was in Chicago for a while. And then New York, which is where I met my husband. Went back to school to become a meteorologist in Tallahassee first, then Miami, then New Orleans, then St. Louis, and now Nashville. So I've sort of been going in on the Southeast.
Yeah. Looks like you got quite the record there, traveling around. Okay, so as someone who John's from New York, and we've had New York people in the past, so I'm just going to get this out of the way before they ambush you and try their silly tricks they always try. Ongoing debate on the show. We always ask pizza. We love pizza, obviously, but we always ask everybody, what are your thoughts about pineapple on pizza?
Not a fan.
Thank you. Yes, there you go. Eat it, Lee. Eat it.
I will eat it. It's delicious.
No, it's terrible.
The temperature. Hot pineapple is just it's got a weird mouthfeel to it. I can go with the sweet and the salty.
You got to try, put a piece of pineapple on a grill, eat it off the grill. It's so good.
I do like that. So that's fair. That's fair. But yeah, no, not on pizza. Funny enough, we moved to St. Louis. So my husband was in the restaurant industry for a long time. And when we moved to St. Louis, that was his hometown. And we moved there so he could open a restaurant with his brother and his father, and it's still there, Twin Oak wood-fired pizza. So we eat a lot of pizza and have eaten a lot of pizza in our lives.
So it would fair to say you're an expert on pizza, and so your opinion would matter more than the two co-hosts I share with. Thank you. Okay,
That's
there
fine.
we
That's
go.
fine.
So wait, now is he still doing restaurant stuff here, or what? Is that changed?
No. So he opened the restaurant in St. Louis with his brother and his father, and it was awesome. They could come together. It's his identical twin brother. But one restaurant doesn't need three owners, three owner operators that are all related. So Kurt stepped away, my husband stepped away, and my brother-in-law and father-in-law are still running it. And he worked with Stony River for a while up in St. Louis. But then when my career moved us to Nashville, he stepped away from restaurants because it's just, my career is sort of an all hands on deck career, and being the general manager of a restaurant is sort of an all hands on deck. And when I was in St. Louis, I was the morning meteorologist, and there were some nights where I would call him at 1 o'clock in the morning and say, you got to come home because I got to go to work. So wrap it up.
Wow.
So he is now the operations manager for a wonderful real estate team here in Nashville. Good friends of ours, and has been really cool for him.
Very nice.
Yeah.
So when did you know you wanted? So we've had a number of meteorologists on the program for whatever reason. We've had Daniel Breezy on, we had Leland Statham on, we had Mary Mays on. So now you join the list of all those people. And so we always ask, like, when did you know you wanted to get into meteorology? Was this something you were like obsessed with as a child, or did you learn about it in college like Mary Mays did, or what's your story on that?
So mine, I grew up in California. I grew up in Pismo Beach. And the only weather that you get in Pismo Beach is fog. And I love fog. Like a lot of meteorologists, you ask what kind of weather they love, they might pick something a little jazzier. But I love me some cold Pacific Ocean fog. And so I hadn't thought much about weather. So like I mentioned, I got my first degree in Dallas, and a bachelor's in theater. And they get real bad weather in Texas. And I remember when I went to school, it was 114 degrees outside on the first day of school, and we were in the middle of a long drought, one of the longest droughts that Dallas had seen. And then a month or so into school, it rained, and I was walking out of a lecture, and all the kids were huddled under an awning. And I remember thinking, like, it's just rain. Like in California, the rainfall, it'll get you a little damp, but you just keep going. And so I started to walk across campus, and in my mind, these raindrops were like the size of like squirrels. It just opened, and it was like, as I was running across campus, my roommate, who was from Miami, I come running in, and I was like, this is amazing. I've never seen this before. And she thought I was totally ridiculous. I made her take my picture so I could send it back to my friends in California. And it didn't really, like I was pursuing theater at the time, and it never really, it didn't dawn on me that I could pursue weather. I think somewhere along the way, I had convinced myself that I had an artist's mind and not an engineer's mind, and that math and science were just not my jam. Mm-hmm. And that's not true. And so I graduated with that theater degree and moved to New York and was pursuing theater, and I didn't like it. And that was when Hurricane Katrina happened. And I just really felt God sort of nudging me to go be a meteorologist. And so then I started looking it up and realized I was going to have to I would have to start from scratch. Calculus, trig, physics 1, chemistry 1. Like I was 18 years old again, my first year in college. And I really didn't want to do that. And I just started dating my now husband and was like, oh, I like this guy. And so I kept Googling it. And like 9 months into it, I finally told the then boyfriend at dinner, I was like, I have this crazy idea that I should get my degree in meteorology and become a meteorologist. And he was like, yeah, you should. You should go to Florida State. You should do that. And so I applied and I got in and I sold everything I owned, and I moved to Tallahassee with 3 suitcases and enrolled in 18 hours of school. I was 24 with a bunch of 18-year-olds and took a whole lot of classes for 3 years and just tore after it.
Wow, that's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah.
So
it's a nut story.
Yeah, I mean, I'd say so. That's a good one. That may top everyone else's. Now wait, let's talk about this theater background. So John he's a bit of he was in choir in school. He likes
Show choir.
he likes the
Yeah.
solo, scat solos, all that. But anyway, what were you doing? Are you like a song and dance style, like that kind of theater, like musicals, or were you more serious? What were you looking to do?
I do like to sing, but I don't think anyone would ever want to hear me sing.
Okay.
My kids might. No, I did classical theater. So I went to SMU in Dallas, which is known for a lot of just classical theater work, Shakespeare. I did a summer at the British American Dramatic Academy in London, and I love it.
You got to give us a line. You got to give us a Shakespeare line.
The Ides of March.
There you go.
We're deeply in the Ides of March. No, my favorite Shakespeare line is, "He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous."
There you go.
Lee, where's that from?
I don't remember.
I'm asking Lee where it's
I
from.
don't
He's the one
know.
asking.
I've not
Lee.
been classically trained, so.
John, wait, let's see. John, you know where that's from?
He thinks too much.
He thinks
Men are
too
dangerous.
much.
Here we go.
Othello.
I think
Othello.
you're right.
Wow, look at Big John go. Nice job.
One of the classes that I took was focused all on Shakespearean insults. And we were given little sheets of paper, like from like a fortune cookie. And they just had lines like that. And that was mine. And we had to walk like straight up to someone else and go, "He thinks too much. Such men are dangerous." Sort of throw the note at him.
There you go.
That sounds terrible, but hey, everyone likes different things. So I'm not a theater guy at all, but so
The nerd factor's high.
yes, it's true. So you went to college, you did it. That's crazy, and then like you say, you traveled around the country. So what do you like the most so far about Nashville? Is there anything that kind of stands out from? I mean, you've been in a lot of places. Is there anything that stands out this city more than any other city you've been in?
Probably the music. You know,
Yeah.
when my husband and I were living in Fort Lauderdale, I was a month away from graduating, and his company transferred him suddenly to New Orleans. And I had never been to New Orleans. And you know, typically in the news business, cities are broken up by markets. And the typical path is, you know, you would move to like a Spokane, like a market, you know, 100 to 200, and you kind of work your way up. And New Orleans at the time, I think, was market 53. And so here I am, I'm just about to graduate. I had one internship in Miami, and I was like, I don't know how I will do this. And I've never been to New Orleans. I mean, Kurt flew there, got an apartment, and I just showed up at the airport, and he showed me where we lived. And I remember being so nervous and feeling like, did I do all this for nothing? Is this, you know, and I mean, I love me some Jesus. And I was like, God, if the purpose of the journey was the journey, then that's great. But just help me let it go then, because this is super, super discouraging. And it was the French Quarter Festival the day I moved there. And so we show up on Bourbon Street down on the quarter, and just people are dancing in the street, and there's this brass band. I mean, it's very sort of kitschy what you think of New Orleans. And some random guy walked up and grabbed my arm and dosey-dovey and was like, "Hey, Cher," and just dancing with me. And my heart fell in love with that city. So then you fast forward 6 years later, you know, I'm job hunting and Nashville's interested. I've never been to Nashville before. And I was like, okay, sure. And I remember when I flew here for my interview 4 years ago, I walked off the plane and there's the music in the airport. And I remember calling my husband, and I was like, I think Nashville's trying to seduce me. Like, I love it here. There's the spirit and the culture. You know, my husband and I are foodies. Our love language is food. And, you know, the artsy fartsy side of me just loves any kind of visual medium, any kind of art and music. And it just was like, this feels like home. And I'd had this vision that I was like, oh, I'm going to have to interview in a whole lot of places. And it was the first place. And I was like, okay, that's where I want to go.
There you go.
Yeah.
Here you are.
And here I am.
So that being said, what kind of music do you like? What are some of your favorite artists or favorite bands or whatever? I know you got to have a list.
My go-to Pandora stations are Maren Morris station, Amos Lee. I love some soul.
Okay.
I actually really like classical music.
Really?
Usually when I'm in the weather center, I've got classical in the background. If it's maybe a more active day, it just kind of stills my mind a little bit. Country. I like Christian music too. There's nothing I don't like.
Like it all. That's good.
I do.
Very nice. So what do you think about, I mean, obviously, just recently the tornadoes hit, terrible time and everything that, how do you see communities kind of, and I'm sure you've experienced this before, how do communities come together after this? How do people not kind of panic every time bad weather hits? If that happens to them, we had Lee's like good friend, their store, Molly Green in East Nashville, was completely destroyed. I mean, when you've talked to these people and kind of interacted with them, how do you see them recovering? Is there anything that that you've ever said to them, or anything you've ever heard along those lines?
So much. You know, the March 3rd tornadoes were so bad for so many reasons. You know, a lot of there's a whole field that actually studies risk perception, how people perceive risk, how people perceive threat, because what you say is not what people hear. And specifically when it comes to meteorology, there's typically 3 steps most people go through, 3 verification steps before they'll act. They hear it, someone else confirms it, and then they see it. And so it doesn't matter if I'm on TV and I say, there's a tornado, go to your basement. Normally people are going to pick up their phone and see if somebody said it on Facebook or Twitter first. And then they're going to go look out their window and go, really, my house? And, you know, it's how the brain processes. And for a lot of reasons, because tornadoes are rare. What we had on March 3rd is so rare. You know, 0.6% of all tornadoes since 2007 have been an F4 or an F5 or an EF4 or an EF5. That percentage is even lower for Tennessee. We don't typically get tornadoes of that strength. Clearly it's possible because we did it. And the other part of risk perception is, you know, we compare things to what we know or what we've experienced. People that lived through the 2010 flood, if I say on TV, there's a flood risk this weekend, the first question is, like 2010? Because that's their threshold. And so now that we've all gone through March 3rd, there's a new threshold. And so the communication and the language around that, all of it has to adjust, because you are still speaking to just the weather story and you want to clearly communicate what's going to happen, but you have to speak to that bias that's now in place, and you have to speak to what that means. Like, basic level, my 6-year-old broke his arm last year, and if I say, hey, you know, you could get hurt, or I don't want you to fall and break your arm, in his mind, he goes, I've done that. You know what that is. And in his mind, that's the worst thing that can happen. And so there is a real need. I've had hundreds of people on email and Facebook and Twitter and Instagram share their stories, how they heard it and then the power went out, and then they're sitting there in their closet on their phone and hearing the god-awful sounds outside, you know, and how that impacts a whole generation, how parents are now trying to talk to kids, and how other people process that, the fact that we haven't even hit our peak of severe weather season yet, and trying to assure people that the likelihood of that happening is very low, but it's not zero. So no, you shouldn't live your life in fear, but trying to just really speak to that encouragement that if you have a way to get the information and you know where you'll go, most tornadoes in Tennessee are survivable. And to just try to build that confidence, and it's just going to take time. I mean, it's like any trauma, it takes time, and folks are tender. I mean, it's been a really tender month. Yeah. So that just requires some extra compassion.
That's very good. I like all that. That's amazing. I've never thought about that. You're right. There are 3 stages of people. It's crazy that people go through that, but you're right. It's all something we do, you know. And it's wild to me that, like, all these things are so destructive, like tornadoes or even, like, you know, tsunamis or whatever. I love nature myself, and I mean, I would love to see a tornado. I mean, maybe I need to go see it where it's far away and it's not destroying anything, but I just think it is such a wonder to see those things. But the wonder is they're also so destructive. You know, I think that's what's kind of crazy about life. And speaking of that, so now we're in coronavirus lockdown. Everyone's quarantined. How are you dealing with that? So you got a kid now, obviously, two kids.
Two of them. Yeah.
Are they both in school? Or?
Well, no. So I have a 2-year-old and a 6-year-old.
Okay.
So the 6-year-old is now out of, clearly he was in kindergarten and he thinks being at home is great.
Okay. So he loves it. Okay. Yeah. That's good.
I think kids are so good at that because it's like, you know, I feel so nervous trying to explain to him like, hey, spring break has been extended. And he's just like, okay.
Right.
Like kids are real good about taking things in stride. They're like animals like that. Like it's fine that moment wasn't pleasant. This is a new moment. And they're just, I think they're good teachers.
Yeah. Do you have like a pretty good schedule? Because I've got a 12-year-old and a 10-year-old. And what's crazy, my 12-year-old is a lot like me, where he's like, school's out, would be out forever, because that would be great. I'm like, no, son, no, it's not gonna be out forever. My 10-year-old is kind of upset about it because I think he likes the structure of school and he likes to learn. But my wife, not me, because I would never do this, but she's made a great schedule for them to follow throughout the entire day. So, but you not necessarily, but a 6-year-old and 2-year-old, it's a little bit different than 2, 12 and 10. That's a little bit different. So yeah.
I was gonna say, if your wife, if she could send me her schedule, that would be great, because that's on the to-do list. Right. There's a million little post-its over here of like, figure out our life, figure out how we do this.
There you go. I'll take you a snapshot. I'll send it to you. But she's basically got like, this hour we're doing school stuff. This hour you can go play your video games. This hour we're going to do chores. And they got their grandmother who lives like right next to us. She comes over and does arts and crafts with them. She taught them how to sew today, and she's going to be doing stuff like that. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So it's, but I mean, yeah, that it's crazy just how it's disrupted everything. The kids, everything like that. I mean, I can't even imagine. It's even, like you said, it's disrupted the news center and all that. And we were talking about that before you got on. Do you see some of these changes in the news field specifically, or even necessarily people just working from home? Do you think some of these things can be implemented long time, or is news something really where everyone needs to be together to kind of get it right and get it out to people?
It's funny you would ask that, because I was actually talking to my general manager today, just checking in, and she mentioned that. And what she said, and I totally agree with her, is that this has been an incredibly difficult season, especially for Tennessee. But in the hard, I think innovation has been really amazing to see, that we've all figured out a way to do things in ways that we didn't think we could do them before. And it's also made me really appreciate the stuff that I wasn't, not that I think I was being a turd and not appreciating what was in my life, but it's like, I miss my colleagues.
Yeah.
One of the guys that I work with, his name's Jason. He loves MacGyver. And when we're in a new season of MacGyver, Jason is a director at work. We tape stuff right after the 6 o'clock news, and we tape it really fast on Fridays when there's a new episode of MacGyver. And then you can hear Jason's footsteps running down the hallway and around the corner to get to the kitchen room so he can get his lunch and listen to MacGyver. And I miss the sound of Jason's footsteps coming down the hallway, and just knowing like, oh, it's a new MacGyver tonight. Jason's going to be locking it up in the kitchen. And you realize those little moments of like, I miss even, we're able to do the news, but when I'm at work, I'm in the studio with Carrie and Rory, and we talk to each other in commercials, and there's some interaction, and it's not just AirPods and texting. And so it's amazing that we've been able to do this, but I think, we all realize that at our hearts, we're storytellers, and we connect better with the community if we're connecting with each other.
Yeah.
Social distancing is bad for the soul.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. And I mean, I will say for sure, I don't know if that's John or what, but I will say that you guys, one thing that stands out about you people are looking, I watch all the news. So I do, you can ask, I watch 2, I watch 4, I love it all, but you guys have a really good chemistry. You have a good time together, and it definitely shows. Like you can tell you guys get along. There's some where I'm like, I don't know if these people hang out outside of work or if they get along, but you guys have a good time. It's fun. So people are looking for something to check out in the afternoons. They couldn't do wrong with you guys. You're a good crew. So that's, I mean, I've been trying to get you on here for a while. So, and a lot of
Thank you for being patient. It's just sort of fell. It's one of those.
It happens. I mean, you know, we're here for the long haul. So I guess, you know, we've got time on our side, but yeah, but like I say, it's a good thing. And I mean, really, I mean, we're not going to go into detail, but Jason Steen is a buddy of ours. I know he talks to some of you guys and he told me to check it out. So that's how we kind of came upon it and everything. So that's good it's good to know, like when you have people that know other people that are cool, they kind of let you know about it. So that's definitely a good thing.
So good. So I've had to take into razzing I've been texting Rory and Carrie in the news. Like, I think the way Rory says y'all always sounds like we're doing that whole "we're open, y'all" campaign to feature businesses that are still open. And somehow Rory always gets the reads in the newscast. And I feel like he sounds like such a yokel. He's like, "We're open, y'all." Like, he hits it really hard. Like, what? Why can't you say that right? What's happening to your mouth? So we're still trying to connect with each other. Well, that's good, you know, and hopefully this won't, you know, hopefully it will be over sooner than later. Like I tell my kids, it will, I mean, you know, it's going to take some time, but it'll be here. And then we can get back to kind of normalcy and, you know, all that fun stuff. And we'll see what happens. So say nothing lasts forever. All right. So Lee, do you have any questions for Bree before we run out of time?
I would say if you just want to give out your social media, if people want to connect with you online, where they can find you.
Oh, yeah. And thank you guys for having me. I don't feel like I said that. I was struggling to hop on, but thank you for having me.
No, thank you. Yeah, thank you.
I'm everywhere. I'm pretty easy to find. Bree Smith, WX on Instagram, NC5 Bree Smith on Twitter, NC5 Bree Smith on Facebook, Bree Smith at News Channel 5. Type in Bree Smith and you'll find me.
There you go.
We try to be pretty findable.
Yeah, there you go. Bree's a good name too. I've known every Bree I've ever known was a cool person. So there you go. It's definitely a good thing. So go check her out. And then what time can people watch you on the news every night? 4, 5, 6, and 10. Say I will be broadcasting from this chair in about an hour. So okay. Yep, 4, 5, 6, and 10 Monday through Friday. There you go. Lee has never watched the news in a while, so maybe he'll check out what it looks like. He was asking me, like, what does it look like? Stream it. I know. There's an app. There's all kinds.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll have to check that out.
There's all kinds of ways. All right, Bree. Well, thank you so much for coming on. And, you know, at some point, hopefully we'll meet you at some function, some event. We'll come up and say hi to you. And, you know, we consider you part of the crew. So thanks for taking time. Have a good night tonight. And like I say, look forward to seeing you back on the news full time sooner, and which you already are, but, you know, with your crew and everything. So, right. All right. Thank you guys for having me. And thank you for your podcast. I love it. So this was fun. Thank you, Bree. We'll see you. Okay. Bye. There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Bree Smith, News Channel 5 meteorologist. Check her out. Like she said, there's many times to check her out. So there's no excuses. And that is that. When we've almost come up to the end of the program. So it went pretty fast. Any thoughts, Lee, about any of that?
Yeah, I just wish we could have had her on longer. Like, some of the stuff she was talking about was so interesting with, like, you know, the theater was cool, which you didn't seem like you were a big theater fan, but I actually liked it. I was kind of embarrassed I didn't know Othello, but then she started talking about the 3 stages of like recognizing a threat or whatever.
That was really interesting, yeah.
It kind of blew my mind, because I was like, let's see where this question goes. And she nailed it. And I've never thought about that. You can almost apply that to anything in life. So it's actually a good
Well, I mean, all the meteorologists that we've had on the show are just fountains of information and knowledge, you know.
They're all like smart people too, you know. That's what's crazy. You're like, are you really that? And you go, okay, yeah, you're kind of smart. All right. So I guess it's, you know, people go, anyone could be a weatherman.
Nope.
Nope. And number one, it's a meteorologist. But number two, no, you couldn't be one for sure, whoever you are in this story. But anyway, all right. So next week we're going to do this again, hopefully, and I will have some bonus episodes. I am going to talk to Adam Cox on Wednesday. I am looking forward to that. That's going to be a fun time.
We're calling these the quarantine sessions. Is that what it is?
The quarantine sessions with Adam Cox, writer for the program from the UK. I can't wait to do that. But next week we're going to unveil It is. We had Bree on. We didn't mention it. It is Women's Month. International Women's Month. National. I don't know what the official term is. It's Women's Month. Next week, Mount Rushmore of women. And you know how good. So we did the African American Mount Rushmore. And if you listen, you know how good that went. So what could go wrong on this one? We'll see.
Is Lee going to pick a man?
Right. We'll see,
Maybe
Lee.
Hugh Hefner. I don't know.
We'll see. All right. So yes. Guys, hopefully you're out there being safe. Wash your hands, blah, blah, blah. We'll send you a postcard with all the information on it since you don't know. Go to the website, blameyourbro.com. Binge on all the stuff that's coming out right now. You have nothing else to do. We can give you a break from all the boredom that's in your life. John, try to stay away from the Guitar Center if possible. And hopefully next week, John, maybe next week you're going to be on the video camera with us, right?
Hopefully.
Okay, that's good to know. All right, so blameyourbro.com's website, all of our stuff there, subscribe, social media, blah, 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 blah. With all that being said, Lee, is there anything else?
Don't blame yourself when you can blame your brother.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.